Welcome to part 2 of my BC-wide trucked up tour. Just to recap on part 1, my goal was to travel across BC to all of my trucked up stops that I'd set up beforehand to meet with you, the viewers of this channel, and get your take on EV trucks, electrification, the challenges, things you want to see, hopes and dreams, and it's been fantastic. Did all of that, but en route, I got a lot of comments about, well, you didn't really test BC. And also, an electric truck standard range in southern and central British Columbia, everything's there, but as soon as you start going up north, things change, they said. You know what I thought? Is it true that northern BC, as we go further north, things get a little touchy? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's go frickin' do it. So, we're gonna go frickin' do it. The geography of British Columbia, for those of you who don't know or have an understanding of Canadian geography, it's this. It's big-ass huge. Many European and Asian countries would fit inside British Columbia. And the other thing about it is, most of the province is sparsely populated. I think that's a polite way of saying there's nobody frickin' there. And I said to myself, let's go do a big loop, and we'll finish up, you know, back where we started. It's a little crazy. It goes over a massive amount of time and distance. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? That's never a good question to ask. But then, you know, I also heard this. Oh, sure, just go up and do the little loop of British Columbia. Because if you actually drove all of British Columbia, you'd find that the north is where we truly can't adopt electric trucks. You have no idea how to travel from Dease Lake to Chetwynd over to Dawson Creek, or take the Alaska Highway. Are you ready for that? Well, funny you mentioned that, because I also didn't do tip-to-tip of Vancouver Island either. And if you stay to the end of this video, you'll find out all the crazy cockamamie ideas I've come up with and what I plan to do in the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, let's go get trucked up and get up north into the great wilds of British Columbia. Okay, there's a lot of cities up there and stuff. It's not really that bad, but there's wild areas. I probably will never leave a paved road, but they're paved roads in the middle of nowhere. Anyway. Come on, let's go for a drive. Kamloops was another spot where you had a larger population and very few chargers. So that was a bit of a surprise, so I expected things to get worse north. Well, I arrived in Cache Creek, 100 kilometers or 60 miles north of Kamloops. I think it was 12 or 14 Tesla superchargers. And then there were 4 BC Hydro, and they were 100 kilowatts. So thank you, BC Hydro, you're starting to step up. Those were being used by 2 F-150 Lightnings, one of them pulling a Ford pickup truck on a flatbed, which was pretty cool, especially out here. And then there was another individual who was parked sideways, taking up like 3 spots, and I couldn't find them. So I went and used the flow charger, which of course was a 50 kilowatt, but that's okay. I just wanted a little top up to keep me going. Next charger's in 105 kilometers, around 65 miles. Again, I had more anxiety because of my boo-boo out of hope and not charging enough for going over the big Coquihalla Pass. It's getting late. We're at 6:42 p.m. I've been at it since 6 o'clock this morning, and we're just gonna keep right on going until we lose some light, and then I gotta find a place to sleep, which will be a challenge all unto itself, let me tell you. I have a funny feeling I will yet again be having a little bit of a lightning night. Thank God for sleeping bags and pillows. That's all I gotta say. Let's go do it. I've arrived here in 100 Mile House, and of course, right up the road is the Chevron station that I was just at to charge. And sure enough, just like before, it's down to about 8% and it's in regeneration mode, which means it's useless and is basically a level 2 charger at best. That's the problem with some of these proprietary private things that are just trying to take advantage of all the grants and all of the benefits of having these things there, but they're not really committed. I was really happy when Chevron put in all these chargers at every one of their on the run. I thought it was a really good move, and I loved it, and it is a good move. But the problem is, these charging units are basically charging up. So as they become more popular, they become more useless. So we don't want to have useless chargers. In rural areas, that's great. In low traffic areas, that's great. But they're putting in these big systems and encouraging people to go out and use their systems because, man, you can just use these things at 200 kilowatt. But you can't. As I've discovered, all of the ones that are put up by BC Hydro and Flow and visitor centers have been at least working. They're slow, but they're working. So here's a nice surprise, even though it's going to take me a little bit more time. Here is the visitor center, the Caribou Visitor Center, 100 Mile House. And right behind me, over there, where my truck is, 50 kilowatt chargers. That's a little slow, but so was Flow. So are a lot of the BC Hydro ones. The nice thing is, these are completely free. So I'm about to drive 200 kilometers, no charge. Thank you to the District of Caribou. Thank you to 100 Mile House. Thank you for giving a crap and putting something in that's not profit driven. It's about bringing tourism. It's about bringing people to your community and taking care of them. This just saved my butt. Thank you very, very much. I mean, really, how often do you get a nice little picnic bench and facilities where you can go to the bathroom at a bird sanctuary with blinds and binoculars and nests in this absolutely serene place next to a charging station? I like this. Some people have communities with the largest ball of elastic bands. Others have the largest pancake. I guess 100 Mile House has gone Nordic. Nice. You're probably wondering, where am I? Well, I've been recording a lot of video between Cache Creek and 100 Mile House, stopping at every little village along the way and discovering that every single one of those villages had a DC fast charger, population 50. One place had a population of 600, had two 100 kilowatt fast chargers, mainly BC Hydro. So good, nice to see them really starting to improve. We're not talking a big distance here. Every 30 or 40 miles, there's a DC fast charger from Kamloops North heading towards Prince George. That's really a surprise and fantastic. And I had them all filmed for you, but I forgot to turn on my audio. Yeah, here I am in 100 Mile House in a hotel. Now I was planning on camping. I went to the campsite and they said, we don't like tenters. We don't take tenters, especially not for one night. Have a nice day. I thought, well, I'll move on then. And I went near that nice bird sanctuary and I found a nice quiet forested area and parked and said, this is a really good spot to sleep. Unfortunately, some authorities came along and said, no, actually it's not. Anyway, here I am at the Ramada. And the Ramada, surprisingly in a 100 Mile House, in fact, every place I checked in a 100 Mile House is incredibly inexpensive. I got a beautiful room here at the Ramada for $30 more than the campsite. So no tender campsite, keep your campsite. I'm gonna hang out on a real bed for an evening. And then I'm gonna get up really early in the morning and we're gonna go across the street and we're gonna take advantage of the amazing system of that 50 kilowatt free fast charger and we're gonna juice up the Lightning as much as I can possibly put in it, and then we're gonna drive for free as close to Prince George as we possibly can before having to charge up again. I am going to bed. It's very late. It's been a long day. And tomorrow, it's 350 kilometers or 250 miles just to get to Prince George. I think I better get some sleep. Good morning, everybody. I did get asleep on a bed. It felt great. Still too late. Of course, I want you guys to see this video right away. So I was up very late going through all of my footage to make sure I could get it all stitched down. So when I get home, I don't have as much editing work. It's gonna be hours of editing work. So I wanna get this video out very quickly for you. So I stayed up late, needless to say. We were up early. We got ourselves our free juice for the vehicle, which is freaking awesome. So far, BC is just totally nailing it, even up here. Very, very cool. To all my awesome trucked up American guys and gals, I'm not gonna make the conversion on this one because I left Kamloops and arrived at 30 Mile House, went through to 60 Mile House, and I stayed over at 100 Mile House. And this morning I got up and left 100 Mile House and went to 108 Mile House, 130 Mile House, and I just passed through 150 Mile House. So I think this is self-explanatory. We're gonna move on. We are off to Williams Lake. According to my truck, I don't need to stop there. I could technically drive to Prince George, but I would arrive with about 1 kilometer of range. I want to just point this out. If this was my old Ford Ranger, which had a little bit of a lift kit and had some knobby tires on it, I couldn't do the same either because I could only get about 400 kilometers, 250 miles out of the tank because it wasn't exactly, well, fuel efficient in its design. So I'm not stopping anymore. Maybe one more stop per 1,000 kilometers or 600 miles than I would have made with my Ranger. Now, you're gonna say, well, I've got a diesel and I can drive 1,000 kilometers or 600 miles on a tank empty. Sure, yes you can. But I'm currently driving from 100 Mile House to Williams Lake for free. Whereas you'd be spending about, I don't know, $200 or $300, depending on what country you're in. Yeah, so there's that. I'm driving for free. You're spending a couple $100. Sure, you don't have to stop as often. Congratulations. The vehicle that just passed me, pulling a horse trailer in a Ram 4x4 diesel. Well, I remember this Ram 4x4 diesel because they were in 100 Mile House, and I'll bet she has to stop to fill that baby up before she gets to Prince George. So there it is. It's all relative. You weigh one thing in over the other. You stop more frequently, save a big pile of money, or stop less frequently and not save a big pile of money. Just saying. We've arrived in Williams Lake and we're gonna just do a little fuel up because, as I said before, I don't want to arrive on fumes. I've been pushing it a couple times really stupidly. So we're not gonna do something stupid. Just give a little top up here. We don't need a lot. We've got just shy of 197 kilometers of range left, but we're now showing 232 kilometers still to Prince George. So that'd be really stupid to not fuel up. So we're just gonna top up a little bit and then we're gonna hit the road. Here we are at the Chevron on the run, Williams Lake. Great news at this time of the morning and where we are. Seems that nobody uses these things, so they're 98% full. So I'm charging at the full 150 kilowatts. So this should only take me about 5-10 minutes, which is freaking awesome. But you know what is also awesome? I'm in Williams Lake, an area that people who own EVs, you know, in the urban center say, oh, you can't travel to and might be risky and you might not be able to charge up with a trailer. Well, this parking lot's pretty darn big. And as I pulled up, there was a Rivian R1T leaving, pulling a boat. So again, I just keep seeing it all over the place. It's not that much of a problem, but here's a shocker. The city of Kamloops, which has like, I don't know, twice, 3 times the population of Williams Lake, has 3 areas with chargers. And when I got there, 2 of them were broken. Well, they were on the runs and they were down because they were out of charge. And here we are at Williams Lake, and there's 4 different options for me to charge. So if something would have gone on with this, I thought that was all I had, but now that I'm here, Flow shows up, BC Hydro shows up, and there's also another Chamber of Commerce or an information center with free 50 kilowatts. I went to use the bathroom and I made myself a tea, and I had problems with my reward points, which he took care of. So while I screwed around inside the gas station and came back out, I did 14 minutes, but I got myself way above where I need to be. What's really cool is I spent like $12.50, but it gives me $5 of on-the-run merchandise, things at Chevron whenever I go in and buy stuff, so my tea's free. I get $5 every time I charge. Even though I gotta spend it at on the run, take $5 off, because I will spend it. So that's good. That's very smart marketing. Now, one thing I didn't know when I came up this way is I've never been up on this road before. I've never taken this particular route. Because of that fact, I relied on good old Google to tell me where all the campsites were, and it only showed me 3 in the area of 100 Mile House. Well, there's a whole crapload of them, and in fact, as I've been driving up this highway, I just keep seeing more provincial park campground areas, private campground areas. There's a wildwood protection area campground. I could have actually just driven a little bit further and just taken trust in the fact that there might be something, but after my little experience with being told that I might get in a little bit of legal trouble if I sleep in my own truck, well, I was getting a little gun shy. So I just decided, what the heck, I'll just stay in the Ramada, but next time I come up this area, which I definitely will do because I quite love it up here. Yeah, you don't have anything to worry about. You want to come to this neck of the woods. People are going to take care of you. There's a lot of accommodations. It's a pretty nice place. Oh, I wish I had a drone to just share with you how beautiful it is around here. You just can't capture it with, you know, a GoPro and a camera. There are so many little lakes, rivers just winding everywhere. And all of this is from the last ice age, from the Wisconsin glaciation. It's all been carved through here. Before we got here, it was all flatland. And then you can see the work of the glaciers just cutting these huge gorges and stuff through that land. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's worth the drive. It's pretty nice up here. And what's really cool is we're driving toward the northern Rocky Mountains. This is where they come back around from Banff National Park, Jasper National Park. We'll be driving along the ridge of the Rocky Mountains. I don't know exactly where they cross over, but basically those run right up to Alaska and the Yukon. And there's 2 mountain ranges that converge. And you know, you're driving back up to the foothills of the mountains after driving, you know, several hundred miles away from the mountains through this amazing, diverse landscape. So I'll capture as much as I can, but we got to keep going. You know me. You're getting to know me quite well. Is if I see something cool, I can't help myself. So I'm driving along the highway. I'm on my way to Prince George. I don't have any reason to stop for anything. Really, I've already snacked up, gone to the bathroom, Williams Lake, charged up. I could drive all the way to Prince George without stopping once. But more importantly, I'm going along the highway and it says rest area. And I pull in and it's like this idyllic little campground. It's got little picnic tables. It's got swings for the kiddies. You know, it's just wonderful. Shockingly, damn place has got bathrooms and showers. Free. Yeah, just on the side of the highway. I'm thinking, ha! So this is like the ultimate rest area, but even better, you know how cheap I am. I stopped because more free fast chargers. Free. I can't resist free. I can't walk away from free. So here I am, just for the heck of it, just getting free fuel. I mean, wouldn't you? Yeah, so plan A became plan B, became plan C. I think we're at about plan W by now. Oops. We have arrived in the city of Quesnel, no small spot, and we're on our way to a very special place that you gotta check out. We're gonna be there shortly. This city is 23,000 people, so it's no BC slouch as far as population. And what's amazing is compared to somewhere like Kamloops and also Vernon, this place has got piles of DC fast chargers. I don't need them. We've got the Tesla superchargers here. We've got a typically incredibly slow flow charger down the end at 50 kilowatts, but they're not slow on how much they charge you. And there's a whole whack of on the runs all over the place. There's BC Hydro all over the place. I think there's even Electrify Canada. I got to check my map again. But the reality is Quesnel up here is absolutely stuffed full of DC fast chargers in a population of 23,000. Very happy about that. No worries on the drive so far. Absolutely none. Coffee time. This would have been absolutely awesome trucked up stop. So next time out, this is the place to be. I just love this little spot, Granville Coffee. Gonna grab myself some fine caffeine here. Oh yeah. And if you've got a place that you want me to visit and have a trucked up stop and want to round up all your buddies and talk everything truck and everything EV, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to add it to the list. I have big plans for traveling and I have big plans for meeting you in person. So make sure you let me know where my next trucked up stop might be. Don't forget, let me know in the comments below. Hickson, population 231. They have a nice little book nook and 2 100 kilowatt charging stations. We are in downtown Prince George, population just under 100,000 people. We're in the downtown core on a Sunday, so it's nice and quiet. And it is, if you can see over at that city clock, it is 3 p.m. So I've got some driving ahead of me. We've got not a lot of chargers for 100,000 people, but we've got about 5 super fast chargers that are charging over 150 kilowatt. There's tons of level 2s everywhere, and there are some slow 25 and 50 kilowatt locations as well, scattered all over the city. So not too bad. You can definitely charge up and you've got lots of choices. We are now off. We got to roll. We're heading for McBride, and then we're going to let the computer decide whether we're going to head into Jasper National Park and down through the Rockies, or whether we're going to take the spine back of the Rockies, whichever gets us to Revelstoke, British Columbia first. We cross a ferry and head for the Kootenays. So it's going to be a long haul. We're going to see how we do. We're going to see the fastest way we can get there and hope to show you some of the most beautiful scenery along the way. Here I am at PG Ford in Prince George. And one thing I've noticed, you know, I've heard all this negative FUD about how EVs are stacked up on the lots and they're just not selling and they're discounted beyond belief and they just can't get rid of them. But you know, what I'm seeing here is nothing but racks and rows of gas and diesel trucks. Here, let's go around the corner for a moment. In fact, I haven't been able to find a single F-150 Lightning, and the same happened in the smaller dealerships right across BC. I'm counting like 20, 30 gas trucks, all new, sitting on the lot, sitting here collecting dust. And this is in truck country. This is where everybody uses a truck. But what's really interesting is 25% of all these trucks, because I've looked in the window, and guess what they've got in the window? Hybrid. Even the die-hard truck guys are curious about electrification because it just makes financial sense. On the whole lot, we found 2. Where's the reduced sticker? Oh, these must be on sale. Reduced dramatically, sale this week only. Yeah, you can get these for a song because they're not selling. You could just come in here and grab them. They're ready to roll. You know, take those huge discounts. Let's go take a look at the sticker in the window and see that crazy discount we've been hearing about. Okay, let's take a look. This is an F-150 Lightning 2023, and it is a Super Crew, and it's just it's an extended range battery, standard XLT, and it is almost $90,000. This baby right here, 4-wheel drive, so an equivalent. And it's an EcoBoost, so already they're thinking eco. Somebody's going to get this truck for way cheaper than an electric, eh? They're going to just come in here and save so much money buying a gas versus an electric. And, hold on a second. I guess it's time for Plan W. I might have overshot things just a little. So I calculated in my return trip, and I'm looking at around 750 miles to get back to where I came from. So I worked it out, and I thought, well, it can't be that bad, 750 miles if I just head right through. It's looking like I'd get home. Actually, I'd get to the ferry, which is, by the way, closed, at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I gotta go from there so I have to drive through until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Charging times aren't limiting me that much. It's adding about an hour and a half to my entire travel time, because most of the chargers, the one I just charged at in Prince George at PG Ford, very cool. The Ford dealerships, a lot of them have the fast charge installed at the dealership. So not like some piddly ass ones. They had 200 kilowatts at the Ford dealership, which was freaking awesome. Loved it. They become a network for you to charge at. So thank you, Ford. Awesome. Keep that up. Need to sell more Lightnings though. Anyway, so that's not holding me up. What's holding me up is my dumb planning. Oh, hold on a second. No planning. So I just saw something that I've never seen before. Check this out. I pass a sign. It says, check your fuel. Next available gas, 196 kilometers. But there's a charging station in 105 kilometers or 60 miles. So there's more chance of being able to charge than get fuel. I haven't seen that one before. We're kind of approaching the western side of the Rocky Mountains, the foothills. We're still a ways out, but it gets quite dramatic because we come off this flat area and then it starts rolling, but we're on a high plateau, so then we get to look down and then see the Rockies off in the distance. It's great, but I can't show you any of it because my GoPro died, because I only have one battery for my GoPro and I don't have a charging pack or extra backup batteries. So I gotta take it off the hood or take it off the side of the truck or wherever I glued it to and put it in my truck and charge it up. So we gotta wait, and I'm not stopping. If you wanna help me out, I could sure use 5,000 subscribers. That's the big one. I'm currently over 1,500 or just around 1,500 subscribers, which is so amazing. I can't believe that. Thank you so much for that. 5,000 would put me in a whole new ballpark with YouTube. And as far as advertising revenue, especially if you're a Prime member, that really starts to have an impact on my channel. Enough to start putting little bits and pieces like a GoPro battery into the pool. And every penny counts. Everything I make from YouTube goes right back into this channel and content for you to watch. So keep it coming. Click that button, because that's going to make a big difference. Or if you want to help me get a couple GoPro batteries and a charger, click the donate button below, or go to the Coffee and Flat Tire Fund on my Patreon, which is also in the description below. Both of those, everything will go right back into the channel and you'll see the results right here. So in the meantime, I could sing a ballad about what we're seeing and you could just draw pictures. I haven't charged. You'll see the mountains. Don't worry, don't hit me with anything heavy. Here we are at another fantastic rest stop. We're gonna go down to the river, also Slim Creek, and just hang out for a little while. Luckily, I got tons of charge. Their stop that they recommended before arriving in McBride was here. It's free, but this is as slow as it gets. Well, actually, that's as slow as it gets. That's a level 2, so you'd be here basically all day. So if you were camping here, going hiking, you plug in here, come back to a full vehicle. Just go down and enjoy the lovely creek for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and give my legs a stretch before I get back. It is 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm here in McBride. 50 kilowatt chargers. Not the best, because BC Hydro, I was just giving them compliments on putting in all these hundreds. So we've only got one group of chargers in McBride and 100 kilometers or 60 miles to the next one in Valemont. And they decided, rural people again, let's just give them 50. Let's have them stick around for a while and enjoy the sights and sounds of McBride. Well, that would be good if, we got a liquor store that's closed, the Village of McBride office, which is closed, it was 6 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday, and a post office, which is closed at 6 o'clock on a Sunday. And then, I don't know, about a kilometer We got a couple of gas stations. I think it's about a kilometer to the nearest restaurant. From my 50 kilowatt BC Hydro, right across the street, not showing up on my maps because according to Ford, I can't use it yet, which is right, because they don't have any super docks here, no magic docks, whatever the hell they're called. Yeah, so right over there is a whole shit pile of Tesla superchargers. So the moment I get my NACS adapter, Ford, hello? Ford, are you there, man? Hey, buddy, NACS adapter dudes, you've been promising them for months. I could be right over there, 250 kilowatts on my way in 10 minutes, but instead, I'm gonna go eat whatever the heck I can find in McBride that's still open at 6:30 p.m. on a Sunday. So here I am, walking down the street of McBride. It's a really wide highway, and not a lot of much. Well, it's only got about, I don't know, 600-800 people in it, I think. And it's, you know, Sunday. The fire scar spread all the way along the mountain. You can see how close it got to McBride. But yeah, I'm hungry. And I've got a choice of Heartland restaurant that's open and Keating restaurant up here, or Killing restaurant. That's a little worrisome. Hopefully nothing came off the road. But anyway, we're gonna go check it out. I have a funny feeling it'd be good. It's got great ratings. Go see if they got some yummy food, something I can eat. It's far more promising than what popped up on my Google phone, which was Killing restaurant. I like Keeling better, much better. We had some very interesting veggie chow mein, mixed vegetables chow mein. It's food. At this point, I'm good. I'm gonna get back and find out whether I've been paying an extra above 40-minute rate. Because I guess BC Hydro has these 40-minute limits, but then they put in the slowest chargers that we have in the province, tell us to hurry up. Well, put in faster chargers or shut up. I know that sounded very grumpy. And I'm not grumpy, I'm having a good time. It's actually been quite a journey. The average person who does this, I don't think they're gonna do 3,000 kilometers or 2,000 miles in a couple days, but you can. And the other thing is too, when you do these trips, you're not having to take a camera off and remount it, move it over to the other side of the truck, and then put it on the hood, and then move it to the back, and then it's almost gonna fall off, and you have to slam the brakes, you gotta take it out, and then you gotta try to get your B-roll, and then all those kind of things. You're not doing any of that. That's really what slowed me down more than anything else, is that kind of stuff. And I'm new to it, so that even slows me down more. But the cool thing is, you can do all of this, and it'll be so easy, even with the goofy stuff that BC Hydro has that I'm currently using, because not so long from now, you're all going to be using those Tesla superchargers across the street. And if you're already with Rivian, with Ford, it's all coming online with Tesla, with the NACS superchargers. And then you're talking 10-minute stops. No more 50, no more 100. You're 250 at a minimum. So things are rocking right along for you. With the new Silverado EV, that thing charges at 350. So you basically aren't taking any more time for your holiday trips, your boating trips, your camping trips, whatever you want to do across this province, you're good to go. And right over those mountains, they look like that's the start of the Rocky Mountains. But those mountains are pretty small because the big ones are on the other side. Mount Robson Provincial Park, then going into Jasper National Park, it's on the other side of that. And you could just cruise right over and do that as well. Back of the truck, let's unplug and get the heck out of here and head for Valemount and beyond and see how far we can go before we run out of light and I gotta find a place to crash. Well, we're still hanging in there. We're in Valemount, pretty happy about it. Just on the edge of the Rockies, could have headed over into Alberta. Not doing it on this trip, but I will be doing it on a future one. What we've got here is some 100 kilowatts. So I decided my little trip planner that Ford did for me, which is always awesome, but one thing that doesn't take into consideration is the speed of some of those chargers. So my next stop, I didn't need to stop for 120, 130, 150, somewhere around there. But I decided to stop now because that one that I'd be stopping at like 10 o'clock at night is at 25 kilowatt. These are 100. So I'm going to charge at 100 now rather than wait 25 later. And I'm going to take a nap in the back of my truck. It's about 8:30, and then I'm going to have little micro sleeps, I'm thinking, along all the rest routes. It's such an experience to actually travel across a whole province in a couple of days, because you really get a sense of a place. And I don't think I really got a sense of my home, of the majesty and how much is located here in British Columbia. But right now, I'm crashing. Going through this little pass through the mountains. I might crash for like 3 or 4 hours, then try to get up at like 3, 4 in the morning. As soon as I have light comes early, so maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, and then just get on the road. Switching over to my front face camera. The light's too low for the other right now for me to do any settings. I gotta focus on driving. A lot of wildlife on the road, a lot of elk, a lot of moose, a lot of deer. And I've seen about 5 bears so far, but I haven't been able to get them on film. They just like pop off the road and down into the forest, which is wonderful. I don't want to disturb them, but wow, there's a lot of wildlife out, so much more than basically everywhere other than my backyard. Because my backyard, it's like some kind of wildlife preserve. They all come and hang out, which is really cool. You'll see more of them. I'll introduce you to more than just Kevin. Met Kevin, right? You can look at Kevin, I think right here. Kevin's right up here. All right, focus on the road. Don't want to hurt any critters. I'm looking down the road here, trying to find a tree or a little campsite or something to sleep under. And it's getting pretty dark. There's some more elk. Yeah, like, I gotta really pay attention here. And I'm driving along, and there's this noise. I'm like, what the frick is that noise? It's raining. It sounds like heavy rainfall. And I look up, and it's like, well, there's the moon. And it's blue sky, but I can barely see anything. And then I realized there's a lot of bugs around this area. There's no gas station for quite a while, and I have no idea how I'm going to clean my windshield. Good morning, trucked up guys and gals. It's just after 4 o'clock in the morning. All the semi-trucks are firing themselves up to get their workday started over here. There's a little truck stop where they all spend the night. I didn't spend the night here with them. I actually found a rest area as planned. I was very, very happy. I didn't need a campground. Actually, I wouldn't have wanted to set up a tent. It was too late in the dark. I mean, I could have if I had to, but there was a beautiful rest stop about 40 kilometers north of where I am right now. I'm currently in the community of Clearwater. It's my last major one before I head back to Kamloops and finish that big, huge circle I started before heading up north. But basically, I found a little rest area, and it had all the facilities I needed, as well as a 25 kilowatt fast charger, 3 of them, and they were free. So we're driving basically all this morning, no cost. I like that. All the facilities I needed. Got there at 11:30, set the alarm for 2:30, thought I'd get up, unplug the charger just in case other people needed it. I doubted it. There was nobody there. Sure enough, there wasn't at 2:30 in the morning. I reset my alarm clock for 4:30, thought that'll do me, get back on the road and try to beat sunrise. I was rudely awoken by a freight train that decided, obviously there was some elk or moose or bear or something on the tracks, and they let off a blow of that horn, and oh yeah, shot me out of bed. Once that horn went off, I thought, you know, it's 3:15. I used all the facilities there at the rest stop, which was awesome, and got on the road. I will say one thing too, the north has been much cheaper than the south. Everything in all of your urban areas, really high rates for buying your electricity. There's a lot lower rate chargers. They're slower, but they're lower, all up north here and central BC, which is fantastic, and way more free services. And it's awesome because I've done about a third to a half of my leg of this long journey for free up here. Haven't had to pay. One thing though, it was much colder last night, which was really nice change. Got down really cool being down the spine of the Rockies, definitely in higher elevations. But with all of the driving and with the changes in temperatures, I thought I better check the tires before I go on the road. And sure enough, I had 2 on one side of the vehicle that were much lower PSI than the other side of the vehicle. They weren't below the rating, so my low tire pressure gauges didn't go off. But before I do any more driving, I thought I'd just check the tires before heading back on the road, just to be safe. Always do that. You're taking long trips, always be pulling over every, doing 600-800 miles, 1,000 miles. Pull over, check the tires, do a little spot check if you're fueling up, just to make sure your vehicle's safe. Well, we're coming through Barrie, heading towards Kamloops, and this area was really threatened. You can see the fire line came right down into the community. You can see still the burned trees on the side of the hill. That was a few years back. There's been so many different towns and cities in British Columbia that have been threatened by forest fires with everything that's been going on with these heat waves and heat domes and droughts, and a lot of communities have been lost and still haven't been rebuilt. Port Lytton still hasn't been rebuilt since the fire. I believe it was 2021 or 2022. It's hard to believe it was that long ago. Quite something to actually drive through these different zones in BC and just see how close some of these fires came to communities and how somehow they were saved, and then others not so lucky. And of course, in my morning fog, pre-dawn fog, I referred to the last community as Barrie. My apologies. It's Barrie. I'm just digging myself a bigger pit. We just passed the Welcome to Kamloops sign. We've entered Greater Kamloops. We've made the full loop. Not part of the Trucked Up Stop tour, a little addition. Okay, a little 1,200 mile, 1,800 kilometer addition. We haven't quite made it. The sun's just starting to pop up over the horizon behind me. Not quite, just about to. It's 5:45 in the morning. We've currently hit 2,700 kilometers. Don't ask me what that is in miles. Okay, it's a lot. Is that good? Getting better. Somewhere around 1,800 to 2,000 miles. I think by the time I get home, we're gonna be really close to 2,500 miles. In some ways, I kind of like the slower chargers. I mean, why would someone say something like that? It's like, really, buddy? Well, if you're working and you're using your truck for doing all the work stuff, sure. You know, you're on a schedule, a tight schedule. These things better be freaking fast. But it's kind of a bit of an adventure to it. You know, people used to go on Route 66. You know, they'd go, and we talked before about the Nordic skis and 100 Mile House and the massive, the largest ball of elastic bands and largest tinfoil ball and the largest fry pan in the world, the largest porcelain pig. Do you know what I mean? You do shit like that because it was fun. You go on a road trip, you check shit out, you take pictures of yourself next to a large paper mache camel, you know, in the middle of somewhere where there aren't any camels. You know, cool shit like that. We got to get back to some of that. You know, we got to celebrate where we are, where we live, you know? And we're just on this fast pace all the time. Go, go, go. Everything has to be faster and as quick as possible. And we're all stressed out and high-strung and jacked up on cortisol and caffeine. The slow fast chargers slow you down. Might be a good thing. And I'm not talking EV trucks and I'm not talking EVs, I'm talking generally. I would have loved to have done this instead of over 3 solid days. Now on again, off again, because I did my little thing in Port Moody, which you gotta check out. It's coming right after this video. It's gonna blow your mind. It's really cool. Canada first. Woohoo! But where was I? It's so nice to slow things down a little. Feel like you're back on the wagon trail rather than the rat race, where we can cool the engines, take a little time to breathe, because you only have so many breaths you draw in one life, man. If you actually count them up, how many times you inhale and exhale from the moment you're born until the moment you leave this good earth. You'd be surprised how few there are. So celebrate breathing in, breathing it all in. I'm gonna. Here we are in Kamloops. Gotta pull into the Electrify Canada. Damn thing better work. We got tons of extra free energy, so we're good. But I don't want to spend a lot of time. I don't want to have to pull into Revelstoke. Let's go charge up. It's exactly 6 o'clock in the morning. We are here in the Kamloops, back at the Electrify Canada with their Ultra and their Hyperchargers. I'm hoping that the Hypercharger this time doesn't time out every 5 minutes, saying that it's full or saying thank you. It just was having problems just keeping going. Sounding really good. It means I can charge at absolute maximum, and with the F-150 Lightning lately, it's been charging above its 155 kilowatt. Seems to be doing the same already here. It was at like 170. So it's like, woohoo! It means I'm only gonna be here like 10 minutes. And then I'm gonna go have something to eat, damn it. After my breakfast, I had to pull over. I was so exhausted from only having, around 3 hours sleep. It's just not safe. When you're feeling tired, your eyes are drooping, you gotta pull over, you gotta rest. So I took an hour and a half nap in the town of Chase, just outside of Kamloops. We're now in the shoe swap. It's been a very popular destination. If you like houseboating and water sports, this is a place where so many people come. A couple of years back, we almost lost the entire community to fire. There were a lot of homes and businesses that went through real disaster at that time. Just before I started filming here, we actually drove right through a burn zone on the highway near Adams Lake. And it's quite shocking, quite dramatic as you drive through and you see how bad the fire was right inside the community and right over the highway itself, how it crossed the highway. We're coming in on Revelstoke, an important moment in our trucked up stop tour, because Revelstoke is kind of the end point. After Revelstoke, driving south, we'll hit Nakusp. And if you recall way back, that's where we turned off and went across the Monashees to Vernon. So we've closed the loop. We've done the full circle together. We're back where we started from, and it's a big moment. In fact, so big, I think it's time to make an announcement. It's about time to make a decision and rate this province. Oh yeah, I'm looking at BC as I traveled across it from another perspective of giving it the official trucked up status or not. Is British Columbia, when it comes to electrification, travel, EV infrastructure, being able to get yourself an electric vehicle and be able to do the things that you want to do and go to the places that you want to go, is it trucked up or is it f***ed up? Well, British Columbia is most certainly getting a trucked up stamp, and it's earned it. You can take a look around. Just in the past several minutes as I'm driving down this road, I've been passed by a slew of Teslas. There goes another one. In the past 5 minutes, I've had 3 ID4s from Volkswagen pass me. But I've been very careful to look out for the gas versions of Volkswagens as well, because I didn't know if the ID4 was really selling all that good. But I guess it is. But the gas things aren't. We've well exceeded 10% of every new vehicle being sold in British Columbia, approaching 20% being electrified. And that's plug-in. I mean, that's not even including standard hybrids. If we go to hybrids, we're closing in on half of all new car sales in this province being electrified in some way, shape, or form. Now, many will say, yeah, but you're West Coast, libtard, leftist, woke people who embrace all that poo. No, that's not the case at all, because I've driven to the working, blue-collar part of this province, right across the whole area, logging, mining, primary resources, hard-working folk who don't give a crap about the West Coast, and they've got just as many electric vehicles on the road. So why is that? Why is that happening? Because it makes sense. And we're starting to get past the FUD and realize that, yeah, as a matter of fact, you can do the same things in an electric vehicle than you can in a gas one. So the tides are shifting. The times are changing. Take a look at what Jim Farley said in the last video that I posted on regarding Every single F-150 selling in North America, over 1 million sales last year, and 25% of those F-150s were hybrids. They're electrified. We're there, folks. But are we there right across this country? We're gonna find out, because I'm gonna go across this country in August, and I'm going to rate every single province, whether they're trucked up or f***ed up. Are they embracing that positive change, or are they gonna be part of the backwaters of history? Because that's where you'll end up. Do you want to embrace tourism, change, innovation, new business opportunities left, right, and center? Think about the captive audience that you're getting. Think about what's possible. Well, you want to be part of that or not? Well, if you're not going to be part of it, then don't expect any of the benefits that come with it. And don't expect the large percentage of the population that will soon be driving electric vehicles to stop in your neck of the woods. They're going to pass you by. You're going to be drive over America, drive over Canada, and they'll just follow the major routes that'll be electrified via companies like Tesla, and they won't be going anywhere else in your province other than through it. And that includes states. So join me in the coming weeks and months. We're going to find out together. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up. As we come into Revelstoke, we pass through the mountains, we travel over Arrow Lakes on the ferry. I'm going to wish you all very well. Thank you for joining me on this epic adventure, this trip in my truck across British Columbia. It's nice to be part of this community. It's nice to be with all of you and hearing your comments and finally getting a chance to meet some of you. I hope to do a lot more of it in the coming weeks and months. Thanks for watching.